that setup. Colonel Samples stole some of my story, but you'll get it here in a second. So first, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for being here today. It means a great deal to Samantha and me that you're sharing this moment with us today. So before I get into my speech, I have a few points that I must make based on the guidance I've received from those in the audience who have already done this process before. So, number one, write the speech down. Check. Number two, bring a bottle of water. Check. Number three, thank God for the blessings I've received on this journey. Check. And finally, thank your wife for sticking around this long. I put that one in the video just in case this wasn't enough. Check. As I begin to tell you a story one last time in uniform, let me appropriately set the stage. The venue for the ceremony is the location of the MLS schoolhouse for MAGTF planning specialists such as myself. The irony of this location is that I'm the last active duty MAGTF planning specialist that is not formally trained to go through the schoolhouse. I'm also the last of the first 100 to enter this MOS when it was brand new to the Marine Corps. Also not sure if you noticed in the video and in your program, there's a mention of village. So take a look around the room. No, really, take a look around the room. This is my village. In this room, I have family, both blood and not, friends from high school, Marines of all flavors, active duty, retired, reserve, and veteran, and friends I've made at different duty stations and friends from church. I told Sam about a month ago, this is a unique time in my life. I have representation for my entire life under one roof. The only time this happens for a person, well, let's just say the guest of honor doesn't get a chance to speak. So, for that reason, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about how you, my village, have got me to this point in my life. So here's the story. And in case you haven't figured it out, the story's about me. Anyway, I'm going to break my humble nature to ensure my point is made. My 26 years has been filled with accomplishments to include, on the military side, achieving the highest enlisted rank in the Marine Corps, becoming one of 2 Master Gunnery Sergeants in my job, being promoted to a rank meritoriously, receiving honor graduate at a professional military education course, receiving numerous awards and medals for excellent performance. As a junior Marine, I received 5050 proficiency and conduct marks. As a senior Marine, I have almost 40 performance evaluations, all but one have been in the top third since 1997. I have successfully filled 4th deployment officer bills for 4 commands to include ground combat element in Iraq, where we not only focused on Marine deployments, but large Army units and Azerbaijani units. I was the 4th deployment officer at Marcent in a time when we drew down in Iraq and ramped up in Afghanistan, which included complex problems such as moving Marines and their equipment from Iraq to Afghanistan and figuring out what equipment was good to move back to the States to be fixed. Outside of my military capacity, my accomplishments include being the Assistant Executive Director of Marine Families, a not-for-profit organization in Tampa, the race director for Run for the Fallen in Tampa for 5 years, where participants got up to over 5,000 people, graduated summa cum laude from college, and just 4 weeks away from completing my master's. Head coach of my daughter's recreation volleyball team, and completed 7 Marine Corps marathons. And I've been married to the same woman for 24 years. That is quite a list of accomplishments. Which, for the record, I never really thought about until I wrote this speech. So now that you know the beginning, at the end of the story, like a Quentin Tarantino movie, we're going to go back to the beginning. So my story really only consists of 2 aspects. It's the struggle and the village. 26 years is a long time, but I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the first 18 years of my life that laid down the foundation for the following 26 years. So this speech encompasses all 44 years of my life. By all accounts, I should not be where I am today. As my bio states, I was born in Philadelphia. But moved to a small town in Maryland in 5th grade. I was raised by just my mother, who at some points worked 2 jobs just to make ends meet. She didn't drive, and we never had a lot of money. So the struggle was real. But here's the difference in the way I think and the way I view the world. Struggle creates opportunity. The Webster's Dictionary definition of struggle is to make strenuous effort against opposition, to proceed with difficulty or with great effort, a violent effort or exertion. Webster's Dictionary's definition of opportunity is a favorable combination of circumstances, time and place, a chance for advancement. The points I want to key in on are to proceed with great difficulty and a chance for advancement. Based on the circumstances of my upbringing, I've learned valuable lessons about life, which allows me to move forward instead of staying stagnant. I learned that when you're trying to save on heating and cooling, to dress appropriately, because winters are cold and summers are hot, even inside the house. I learned that riding a bike everywhere makes your legs strong. I learned that presents from the Salvation Army or Dollar General are still presents. I learned the meaning of hard work, humility, and humbleness. All things you'll never find in a textbook. I owe gratitude to my mother for laying down the foundation to create the person here today. On behalf of the village, I thank you. The saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it took a village to raise a master general sorry quails. I stand here today with the accomplishments I listed earlier because of you. Most of you in this room have sacrificed as much for me as I have for you. Even being here today, I appreciate your sacrifice. The Quails family understands sacrifice. As I listed before, being married as an accomplishment, because if not for Samantha's willingness to endure hard times and sacrifices, 24 years would be a pipe dream. There is no truer moment to describe this than when I was deploying to CJTF Hoa. We got to the gym at Camp Lejeune a little early so I could stage my gear and hang out in my Toyota Sienna with my 10-month-old who was sleeping. But after going in to drop off my gear, I was bombarded by a ton of Marines with questions because I was the bus team commander and the MAGTF plane specialist who planned the deployment. After finally making it back to the van and explaining what took so long, she looked at me and she said, "It's okay, they need you, we'll be fine." No knowledge of exactly where I was going, how long I would be gone, or even if I would come back. This selfless moment sums up how this family rolls. Okay, back to you and your sacrifice. Some of you paid for expensive plane tickets, drove in car for days, took time off of work when you probably couldn't afford to, missed important family events, and spent money for your savings for a hotel room. Believe me, I appreciate what you did here to be here. People thought I was crazy for planning my own retirement ceremony. I've been planning the ceremony for over a year to make it as special as I could for you. The video took about 6 months to make. I went through over 4,000 pictures, both printed and electronic. Each one of those pictures was picked because of the special meaning behind it. Some may look random and out of place, but trust me, they have meaning. There was a picture in the video of the first apartment that Sam and I had when we got married. The significance in that picture is that I've given hundreds of Marines marriage advice before they tied the knot. And I always talk about compromise and learning to understand the feelings of your partner, and the story always goes back to the computer in that picture. Every event, every detail of this event was considered because I wanted to make it absolutely special for you. So there's something that you don't know about me that I think is important to share in this forum of my village. This stack of letters and thank you notes have been written to me over the years. I keep these and I read them from time to time to remind me that I'm doing the right thing, even when the struggle becomes super real. Although my name was on the documents, this ceremony and reception is my way to one more time tell you thank you, and that I was worth the violent effort that you put into me. I listened and I produced for you. My village will definitely not be complete without a few special people. Don't get offended, everyone's special, everyone gets a trophy. Specifically, I just want to highlight a few people for their extra effort. I want to thank my in-laws, Ralph and Sarah Hubbard, for giving me a chance to prove that I was good enough to marry their daughter. My kids, Riley and Zachary, for keeping me grounded. No matter how awesome of a Marine I think I am, I'm just lame old dad who uses outdated terms. My best friend, William, who's done something that's almost unheard of in a military lifestyle. William has been to every one of my duty stations to include Okinawa. I've gained entire families, specifically the Laytons, who took me in as a young man and gave me rudder steer when I needed it. I gained an entire family in Tampa with Sid, Richard, Kim, Amy, and Celine. I think we all learned about family bonding and focus, or lack thereof. I've gained Marine brothers, Aaron Hammer, Stuart Earl, Scott Robbins, Greg Mather, Russ Hafer, Todd Calkins, sisters Stacy Boswell, Amber Woods, Veronica Soto, Veronica Hinchhold, Shannon Powers, Sherry Rubeck, who hopefully for the rest of our lives will continue to do what they've done for me so far by providing me mentorship and checking on me to make sure I'm still breathing. I want to thank my bosses who supported me and allowed me the freedom to do what I needed to do, like Colonels Chase, Samples, Gordon, Holden, Casey, Smith, and Dickey, and my civilian bosses like Gramps Peterson, Mr. Johnson, Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Parker, and Mr. Hafer. I have to thank all behind-the-scenes people like Dodie Mankey who made it possible for me to literally be in 2 places at once. On the personal side, my family would have never survived without the love and support of the Moratskis, Dietz, Sardinas, Garwoods, Munoz, Raw, and Jolly families. A special thanks goes to my high school friends who have never left my side since day one. William Layton, Jody Childers, Karen Ewing, and Marilyn Blair. During my 26 years, I've led and mentored many Marines, but there are 2 that came to me early in their career. I put a little extra effort into their development because I saw their unlimited potential. I put so much effort into these 2 that I will gladly take their successes and failures in life, which they won't fail because they were trained by me. And they are Channing Gilroy and Daniel Moyes. These 2 Marines are a product of me and this village. Although they have left the active ranks of the Marine Corps, rest assured that they are productive citizens and they have a positive impact on society. I cannot express my thanks enough to all the Marines and people who have invested time in me to allow me to represent this village. I give advice all the time, as most of you here can attest to. So here's some advice that I've given over the years that I must now heed for myself. As a guest speaker at Corporal's Course graduation, I told young Marines to stay hungry. And here's what I told them. The course you just completed was not designed to teach you everything you need to know to be a good leader. It should have been just enough to make you hungry. Hungry is an interesting choice of word. When someone is hungry, he or she will do whatever it takes to get food, especially for his or her family. For those who truly understand hunger, it is not a pleasant experience, but it teaches those who are hungry or who have been hungry not to take things for granted. So what does that matter to you? You are the future of our Corps and society. Your Marines and the Americans that depend on you are your family. This course is only a small piece of bread to feed your hunger, but not satisfy it. You need to be constantly hungry to be your best. As a father and a friend, I provide advice and guidance that bad times are often followed by good times. My advice was this. We've all been blessed with talents, skills, wisdom, intelligence, abilities, or any combination on the list. If we choose to use them, is another story. It is up to us to attempt to live our lives to the fullest and not take it for granted. We must understand that with every breath in, there will be a breath out, all the way to our last breath. When we're born, nurses want us to take our first breath and cry is a sign of life. Upon death, the doctor checks for a pulse and breath to determine if life as we know it has ended. What happens in the middle is up to the individual. The most successful people in the world and the least successful people in the world all share the same thing. They breathe in, they breathe out. We all have problems we must face head on, but we should take the time to appreciate those in our lives that make us whole. Life and death, peaks and valleys, good things and bad things are all inevitable, just like breathing. Make every breath count. As a guest speaker at Staff Sergeant Gregory Mather's retirement, I gave him some advice about making the transition to the civilian sector. I told him to be patient. Understand civilians are not like Marines, which goes back to being patient. And to gain balance between work and family. The last piece of advice I will share with you are from my own Quails laws. I know some of you are not familiar with Quails laws, but while I was stationed in Okinawa the second time, I developed Quails laws to help Marines understand who I was and how to stay on my good side. 2 points that pertain to me today are to never limit yourself and don't forget where you came from. All that to say, as I make my way into this new chapter of life, I will stay hungry to ensure that I am the best person I can be to still represent my village. I will continue to enjoy every moment, knowing that times get tough, but I have my village to remind me that with every bad, it's followed by good. As I leave the Marine Corps with the understanding that life on the other side will not be the same, I must be patient and understanding. Lastly, I leave knowing that limits and bounds are just starting points for my success. And I will never forget where I came from, both personally and professionally. So as I close the speech in this chapter of my life, I have a few hopes, and most of you know that I don't like to hope for things. I hope this was worth the price of admission. I hope that I've made you proud. I hope that you now have a better understanding of how your actions have impacted me. So there you have it. I gave you a movie. I gave you live music. In a few minutes, we'll have a poem with the Old Glory presentation and food at my house. I think I did a little better than an airline. Seriously, thank you for everything up to this point. Thank you for always being a part of my life. And this isn't the end, it's only the beginning. As a lot of you know, when the Quails family parts ways with someone, we don't say goodbye. We say see you later, because that's the plan. Goodbye sounds permanent, and we don't believe in saying goodbye forever, which is why so many of you are in this room today. Life in my military career hasn't always been rainbows and unicorns, but because of you, my family, my friends, my village, I turned out okay. It truly takes a village. Thank you, my village, for your trust, your support, and your love. Semper Fidelis.